If you're hearing this, it means I finally found a way to get a signal out. My name is Alex Mercer, and today is day 90 since the outbreak. I'm still alive, still hiding in the old elementary school on the edge of town. If you're out there, if you're listening, please don't come looking for me. Not here, not now, because the children aren't normal anymore. I know how that sounds. I know what you're thinking, but I need you to believe me. I need you to understand what's really happening inside these walls. It started like any other morning. 3 months ago, I was the school's IT guy, fixing projectors and resetting passwords, never expecting the world to end between the first and second bell. The news broke just after 9 a.m. A virus spreading fast, people collapsing in the street. The teachers tried to keep the kids calm, but panic spread faster than the infection. By noon, the school was locked down. By nightfall, the world outside was silent. I survived by hiding in the server room, barricading the door with filing cabinets and desks. I rationed snacks from the teacher's lounge, drank water from the janitor's closet. For days, I heard nothing but the hum of the servers and the distant, echoing footsteps in the halls. At first, I thought it was other survivors, but then I started hearing the laughter, high-pitched, echoing, wrong. The children were still here, but they weren't the same. They moved differently. They whispered to each other in voices that didn't sound like any child I'd ever known. On the 7th night, I made my first mistake. I left the server room to search for more food, thinking the coast was clear. The hallways were dark, the emergency lights flickering, casting long shadows that seemed to move on their own. I crept past the art room, the walls covered in crayon drawings that now looked twisted and strange, smiling stick figures with too many eyes, houses with doors that led nowhere. I tried not to look, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. That's when I heard it, a soft giggle coming from the end of the hall. I froze, heart pounding, as a small figure stepped into the light. It was a girl, maybe 8 or 9, wearing a tattered uniform and clutching a broken doll. Her eyes were wide, too wide, and her smile stretched impossibly across her face. She tilted her head, studying me, then whispered, "You shouldn't be out here, Mr. Mercer." Her voice was layered, as if two people were speaking at once. I backed away, but she didn't follow. Instead, she turned and vanished into the darkness, her footsteps making no sound. I ran back to the server room, slamming the door and shoving the cabinets back into place. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that impossible smile. I started hearing more voices after that, children singing nursery rhymes in the wrong key, the sound of tiny hands scratching at the walls. I realized I wasn't just hiding from the infected, I was hiding from something much worse. The days blurred together, each one more surreal than the last. I kept a journal, marking the hours by the flicker of the emergency lights and the dwindling snacks in my backpack. Sometimes I'd hear the intercom crackle to life, broadcasting static and fragments of children's voices. Come out, wherever you are." The words would echo through the empty halls, bouncing off lockers and tile, making it impossible to tell where the sound was coming from. On day 45, I tried to reach the cafeteria. I moved quietly, hugging the walls, listening for any sign of movement. The air was thick with the smell of spoiled milk and something metallic. As I passed the music room, I heard a piano playing, a simple, haunting melody. I peeked inside and saw a group of children sitting in a circle, their backs to me. One of them was playing the keys with stiff, unnatural movements. The others swayed in time, humming along, their voices flat and emotionless. I held my breath, praying they wouldn't notice me. Suddenly, the music stopped. All at once, the children turned their heads, every single one staring straight at the door. Their eyes were glassy, unblinking. I ducked out of sight, heart hammering, and crawled back the way I came. That night, I heard footsteps outside the server room, slow, deliberate, as if someone was dragging their feet. A soft voice whispered through the crack under the door, "We know you're in there, Mr. Mercer. We're waiting." I pressed my back against the wall, clutching a broken chair leg, and waited for morning. On day 60, the power finally died. The server room went silent, the comforting hum replaced by a suffocating stillness. Darkness pressed in from every corner, broken only by the faint glow of my flashlight. I knew I couldn't stay hidden forever. Supplies were running low, and the children, whatever they had become, were growing bolder. I heard them more often now, their voices echoing through the vents, their laughter twisting into something sharp and mocking. I decided to risk a move to the library, hoping to find bottled water and maybe a way to barricade myself somewhere safer. The halls were colder now, the air heavy with the scent of mildew and something sweet, almost rotten. As I crept past the gym, I saw strange symbols drawn in chalk on the floor, circles, spirals, and stick figures with their arms raised. The children's shoes were lined up neatly along the wall, as if they'd all stopped to take them off before some kind kind of ritual. In the library, I found more evidence that the children were changing. Books were stacked in bizarre patterns, spelling out words I didn't recognize. In the center of the room, a circle of desks surrounded a pile of broken toys and torn pages. I heard a soft shuffling behind the shelves and ducked out of sight, holding my breath. Two children walked past, their movements jerky, their heads twitching as if listening to something I couldn't hear. One of them stopped, sniffed the air, and whispered, "He's close." I waited until they left, then crawled into a supply closet, heart pounding, and tried not to make a sound. I spent the next 2 days in that cramped closet, surviving on stale crackers and sips of water from a leaky pipe. Every so often, I'd hear footsteps outside, sometimes running, sometimes slow and dragging. Once, I heard the unmistakable sound of a junk rope slapping the tile, followed by a chorus of voices chanting a rhyme I'd never heard before. The words made no sense, but the rhythm was hypnotic, almost like a spell. I pressed my hands over my ears, trying to block it out, but the voices seemed to seep through the walls. On the third night, I woke to the sound of scratching at the door. Not frantic, but patient, like someone tracing patterns in the wood. I held my breath, clutching a heavy book as a makeshift weapon. The scratching stopped, replaced by a soft sing-song voice. "We see you, Mr. Mercer. We know all your hiding places." My skin crawled. I didn't dare answer. I waited, counting the seconds, until the footsteps faded away. When I finally emerged, the school felt different. The air was colder, the hallways darker. I crept toward the science lab, hoping to find something, anything I could use to defend myself. As I passed the art room, I noticed the drawings had changed. The stick figures now had sharp teeth and black eyes, and every single one was staring straight at the door. I hurried on, my nerves fraying with every step. In the science lab, I found a box cutter and a half-empty bottle of rubbing alcohol. Not much, but better than nothing. I barricaded myself in a storage closet, determined to survive one more night. That night, everything changed. I woke to the sound of the fire alarm blaring, echoing through the empty halls. Red lights flashed, casting wild shadows that danced across the walls. Through the narrow window of the storage closet, I saw the children moving in unison, their heads tilted at the same unnatural angle, their eyes reflecting the strobe like animal eyes in the dark. They began to chant, their voices rising and falling in a language I couldn't understand. The temperature dropped, my breath fogging in the air. I realized with a jolt of terror that they weren't searching for me anymore. They were summoning something. The floor vibrated beneath me, dust falling from the ceiling tiles. The chanting grew louder, the children's voices merging into a single, inhuman wail. Suddenly, the lights went out, plunging the school into total darkness. I heard the doors slamming shut, one after another, sealing every exit. Then, from the end of the hallway, a new sound, a slow, heavy footstep, impossibly loud, echoing through the silence. Whatever the children had become, whatever they had called, it was coming for me. I pressed myself against the back wall, clutching the box cutter, heart racing. The footsteps drew closer, the chanting now a whisper in my ear. The doorknob rattled, then turned. I held my breath as the door creaked open, a cold wind sweeping in. And then, nothing but darkness. If you made it this far, comment "I survived day 90" below. And if you want to know what happened after the door opened, subscribe, because the next story might be yours. Don't trust the silence. Don't trust the children. And whatever you do, never ever answer when they call your name.